So my name is Rochelle, I'm the Youth-Led Change Programme Lead here at the Blagrave Trust.
My name's Callum, I'm the Youth-Led Change Lead at Blagrave Trust, and as part of that role I co-lead with my co-lead Rochelle on all of our work to kind of shift power and resources directly to young change makers.
So I'm Jaden Osei Bonsu, I work for the Centre for Knowledge Equity, and we was one of the partners with Blagrave Trust in creating the Challenge and Change Fund, and we've been working with them from its inception with our CEO Baljit Sandhu and Joe Wells, and yeah, I came on board halfway through to help support some of our Challenge and Changes on the programme.
So my name is Osama Sharfiya, and the organization I work for is Kent Refugee Action Network. My project was around supporting young refugees and asylum seekers through building a safe place for them. It was supposed to be online, but we extended that to be like a media training for them as well.
My name is Eli, I'm the new CEO at Blagrave. I've been in post for about 2 weeks now, so very new to the game.
So what is Challenge and Change and why is it unique? Well, I think at the core of it, like Challenge and Change was created by and for young change makers, and that in itself is unique. It was a partnership, partly kind of Blagrave, partly the Centre for Knowledge Equity, but also partly 3 young advisors from across the UK with different kind of experience of campaigning, movement building, or just community change. And they kind of shape the whole programme of how do we shift power and resources, which within the funding sector is just so radical and so new, even though really it shouldn't be.
During my time at Blagrave, I've been working on the Challenge and Change programme. This is the 2nd iteration of the programme. Last year was absolutely incredible, the number of projects that went on to become registered charities and really felt successful in what they wanted to do was amazing. So I support all of the young people who are funded through Challenge and Change from beginning to end, from working with the young advisors to help set up the fund, to working with the young advisors to come up with the criteria and make decisions on who is funded. Once they are funded, I get in contact with them, let them know that they've been successful or unsuccessful and what that looks like, so whether or not we can kind of refer them to other organisations or let them know the support that we can offer them. We'll work with them to figure out how to pay them, what works best, how much, when. We'll work with them to develop their own skills in the funding sector and understand more about how they can use their funding, how they can apply for other funding if that's a route that they want to take, and answer any questions that they have around charity law, safeguarding, etc.
Yeah, the youth advisor experience was, I expected it to be like so complicated and difficult, honestly, at the beginning, but when we started it, when we like had our meetings, when we like had these discussions and debates, it was just like an amazing, interesting experience for myself and also a lot of learning. I always needed this. I always like seeked for, self-development and great opportunities, and this is how can I describe it as a great opportunity for myself, for my self-development. Actually, what inspired me, to get involved to be a youth advisor is I wanted to see as many young people getting the same fund and support I got, because I know that because we are young people and we are not likely to get funds from other organizations, but this opportunity was really a great opportunity for myself, and I thought becoming a youth advisor would enable me to kind of support the applicants and also to look at these applications from different perspective, from young person perspective, and therefore feedback to the other youth advisors and also for the funders themselves.
I don't think there's a lot of funds out there like Challenge and Change. I'd potentially be incorrect to say we're the only one doing this, but like what you said, it's that freedom for me that is really important about this fund. Working with Rochelle really closely, the way that she really backs the young people is just so huge and brings such an excitement to the organisation. So I think it's really special, Challenge and Change, and being here today to experience the magic of these young people that, like, quite frankly, are doing the work already, and it's a real honour that we get to sit alongside them on some of this journey, you know, and be that supportive friend where needed. We can connect them up to other organisations.
Why lived experience is so important as well is there's a lot of forgotten and hidden leaders, and the third sector and the funding world put all these loopholes or all these measures in place for our leaders to jump through, but we have to build these relationships on trust. And some of these leaders are out there doing the work, but are leading 5 different roles. They're working on the front line, they're being the CEO, they're being the fundraiser, they're doing delivery, and it's like, actually they need the resources to develop thinking time, strategize and vision so that their organizations can get into a better place. But also not just supporting what we deem as this is what an organization should look like. Our lived experience leaders need the space to challenge funders, the space to say, actually, this isn't fit for purpose for our communities. This is what we need. We need to develop research. We need to develop ways of working with our people, but we just need the time and space to do so. And that's why the lived experience leaders and the movement is so important. Challenge and Change is unique and different because it's embedded in trust. They trust the young people, the young leaders that they're working with, and they're bold and brave in terms of, actually, we want to fund organisations, young people who other funders might not fund or might deem as risky. But what's risky in terms of, if we don't fund, then the risk is greater than if we do. So how are we understanding what risk is? I see like some of the young people that have been funded and their projects is needed, and this is how it's turned into a lived experience leaders fund, where a lot of lived experience leaders are seen as vulnerable identities, but they're not vulnerable identities. These are people that have the first-hand experience of the social injustice and the expertise to address these issues. So we should be, as funders and within the third sector, they should be reaching out and trying to find better ways to find those individuals rather than just relying on their systems. They can do so much more.
But yeah, I think for me, one of the really special things, I guess, going back to what you were saying about the freedom and that we weren't on top of you with the kind of grants admin side of stuff and reporting. And I think a lot of that comes from the way that it was created, that we're not focused on the impact, so we're not measuring that necessarily. We trust that you will create impact, and you guys being here together and standing tall for the change that you believe in is all the change we need to see, really. But for us, it's about that kind of positive impact for you as a young change leader and connecting up with other young change leaders. For us, that's a huge success that we are kind of looking at in a lot more holistic terms. You know, you won't be asked to sign X, Y, Z all the time, but like we see it with our eyes. We have conversations. Rochelle checks in regularly. I think that's a real beautiful relationship, and for a funding body where, you know, there's a huge power dynamic between where we sit and some of the groups that we serve and support. But I think one of the ways that we can start to, I guess, be more honest in that power imbalance, but also just own where we both are and meet in the middle, is through just connecting as individuals. And I see a lot of space in this program that this relationship is really humanized, and that we get to know you as individuals, you get to know us, we have a laugh too. And I think that's special. This work is heavy, and as much as we can do, I think, yeah, it's about how can we really center joy in that and make sure that this is a fun, useful experience for you guys as you go on and change the world beyond belief. So yeah, it's an honor to be involved.
Because we're always challenging everything. We're like a team of 8, super ambitious. We always want to do the best by the young people that we're here to serve. And that means a lot of work. So often we'll be working over our hours and challenging ourselves and like having really difficult conversations. You have to reflect on your own internal biases and like figure it all out for yourself as well as the team. But also we can't wait, right? Young people are out there doing work and they need money. So we also need to do it whilst learning and giving out the funding, because yeah. you can't just sit around and wait forever. You can't make something 100% perfect, because by the time that it's perfect, it's out of date.
Having a decision that is made by a group of young people who have different lived experience is so important, because when we had our discussions about different applications, each one of us had mentioned their lived experience and also influenced the others' opinions, because they didn't know anything, for example, about the others' experiences. For example, myself, I had this experience being a young refugee, and when mentioning that during the decision-making day, I kind of influenced everyone's else's opinion.
Prioritize your health. No one else will prioritize it for you. And our movements are getting better at centering our well-being, but we've still got a hell of a distance to go. And I'm reminded of a lot of the elders that helped inform my way of thinking, particularly with regards to activism within the Black community and the elders. And it's like, looking after yourself is a radical act in this world. So, if you start to put yourself first and put up your boundaries, build healthy boundaries, it has a really positive effect for everyone else. A lot of this work is deeply personal. It's hard for us to switch off. The world is on fire, I know. But I was saying to a young person today, like, we need you to be standing, when the change comes. As we get closer, we want you to be sustained. And sometimes that means just letting people know, like, I can't right now. I don't have the space. I don't have the energy. It's about understanding where you go to recharge, and I know when to step away from that laptop or that tweet if you're coming from a place of burnout. And yeah, I shared loads there, but well-being, look after yourself, it's so important.
Be proud. Yeah, be proud of yourself, because you have gone this far, and I think at the end of the project, all of you will be just like amazed by the work you have done.
I guess the only message I have for any young people looking to create change, is to believe in yourself and to make sure you show up in rooms whenever you're invited. Even if you feel like you don't belong, even if you feel like you have imposter syndrome, show up as your true self, because that is what makes you unique, and that is what makes, I guess, Challenge and Change unique, is that we want people to show up as their full, authentic self, with their lived experience, with their imperfections, because that is how we learn and grow together. And yeah, I think young people are like powerful forces for change, and it's going to be an incredible year just to see where people end up.
So yeah, I'd say networking. I know it's long and not all of us are extroverts or really confident in that, but if you can, please do engage, because you never know who someone knows and what connections they have. There's a lot of funders out there that don't advertise their funding. You've got to be in their network. There's a hell of a lot of money that is like that, and until you build those connections, you won't have access or know it's there sometimes.
Do you know what, I know this sounds a bit cliche, but believe in yourself. Like, sometimes we need to be given permission to do something, and I guess it's like, this fund by people investing in you, it's like, try it out. Be the first to do it, like innovate, do something where people haven't done, and believe in yourself, and don't be afraid. There might be barriers that come along the way, there might be challenges, but anything good always comes with challenges, and it's like, actually, this is the first step. Believing in yourself and trialing things out, and trusting other people as well. I find that this journey has been a lot of unlearning systems and ways of thinking that have been embedded in me through going through these systems. And it's like, no, like, I've got to believe in myself and my ideas, and I'm not just an individual who's a disadvantage, like this term disadvantage, or you're disadvantaged. No, I feel like I'm so advantaged, and I've built so much resilience through the experiences that I don't even talk about, but are so much a part of me. But I want people to see me for my expertise now, and I want these young people to see themselves as experts. Like, really jump in and feel comfortable with being a leader, and continue to learn and be a sponge of information, because there's so much knowledge out there for you. Continue to use that to inform your programs and your projects. And and believe in yourself and your ideas, man. Like, that's the line.